And finally, 41 years ago today, a kid from San Mateo, California, would end up being picked 199th overall, second to last pick in the 2000 NFL Draft. From Michigan, his number is 12. His position is quarterback. He would end up winning 5 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 NFL Most Valuable Player, and he is a 13-time Pro Bowler. His name is Tom Brady. In his 17 years of playing in the NFL, there is very little doubt that he is the greatest player of any era in football. With the great Bill Belichick at the helms in the infamous Gillette Stadium in the Foxborough.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Lobo Show, we have to talk about the greats here. And this is absolutely a person that needs to be talked about. Because, ladies and gentlemen, football, American football, let me clarify that for, my European and my English friends out there. Because I have to say this. It's the toughest, roughest sport here in North America. It used to be the greatest game there ever was. The only pure game left. You want to talk about the greats? Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Johnny Unitas. But I'm telling you, in football, there's history and there's lineage to it. And to be quite frank, I know I talked about great athletes in the past, but we are living in a great era. If you're into sports, because we're seeing guys that are young and breaking records at all the time. And if you want to talk about a person that's doing that, I'll talk about the most hated person in the NFL. Just for people who don't know anything about the NFL, I want to talk about a person that's absolutely hated and revered at the same time by millions. It's weird that you can say that, but it is true. His name is Tom Brady. Now, here's the thing, guy. I'm a New Yorker. You know what I mean? I'm a Giants fan. To be honest, I don't hate Tom Brady at all. I have no quarrel with that man. I'm an Eli Manning guy. Eli Manning beat Tom Brady in 2 Super Bowls. 2 Super Bowls. Nobody has ever done that. I don't want to lose you people. Now, I know a lot of people are not fans of him, but you have to understand absolutely when they say the guy was up there with Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Troy Aikman. Hell, he was up there with Landry, the absolute best. And they have to admit it. This guy proved it, won as much championships you could, Super Bowls, if you will. Great athlete. And what was great about him, he has a great story. He was almost like you mentioned, you alluded to earlier, Heapsack. He was second to last pick in the draft. He was like almost not even drafted, right? And I'm going to tell you a little story about Tom Brady that most people know, but if you don't know, I'll catch you up to speed here. He was almost undrafted. In football, you have to understand there's a very short time of like you have to do your thing. They'll cut you off in a minute. Football is totally about what have you done for me lately. That's what it's about. You could be a great running back for like 3 years, but by the 5th year, you're retired because it's all about what have you done for me lately. They have zero tolerance. You can see in other sports, some guy, he's like off for 1 year, 2 years, and that's no big whoop. They'll still give a guy a million chances. In football, that is certainly not the case. With Tom Brady, to be drafted that low in the NFL draft, it's like, man, you literally have no future. And the guy, when he did, he got drafted. Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, he called him up. It's like, he calls up everybody drafted, like, hey, kid, welcome to the New England Patriots. And Tom Brady told Robert Kraft, he said, drafting me is the smartest decision you've ever done in business, in anything. And Robert Kraft was taken back by that. He was like, what? What? But that's what Tom Brady said. 1 year, Drew Bledsoe was having a great year. He got injured. Drew Bledsoe was the fucking quarterback of the Patriots at the time. He got fucking injured. Couldn't do it. But he was a legend. Drew Bledsoe was the guy. Tom Brady took him to the fucking Super Bowl. And at that point, Drew Bledsoe was healed from his injury. Bill Belichick, the coach, the greatest coach in the NFL, people are saying. Better than the Green Days of Vince Lombardi. Better than that, they're saying. Better than Lombardi. Better than the Bear Bryant, even though Bear Bryant did college in Alabama. Roll Tide. But they're saying the greatest coach, Belichick. He went with Brady. He's like, you know what? I'm going with Tom Brady. And he never looked back ever since. 5 Super Bowls later, this guy is on the top of his game, absolutely. People go talking about Deflategate. People go, oh, they're a bunch of cheaters and shit. Come on, bullshit. That's a good excuse. When it comes down to it, cheat, bullshit, deflated balls and all that shit, it comes down to the fucking field, bro. NFL. I used to like the shit out of the NFL, but until that kneeling shit happened, I'm not gonna lie. Now it's like, I don't like to really talk about it. You know what I mean? Big Giants fan. Love Eli Manning. Beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. It was awesome. But dude, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, man, greatest rivalry. And listen, this is not a knock to Joe Montana, man, who was absolutely considered one of the greatest of all time. So was Troy Aikman. So was Dan Marino, although he never won a Super Bowl. But Tom Brady, let's be honest, it's the greatest player of all time. Now, here's the thing. Some people, true football purists, will say, no, dude, a quarterback can never be the greatest player of all time. Has to be a running back. Then I know the numbers don't say it, but then Jim Brown was the best because that man never ran out of bounds. Guys from fucking like Oakland and shit at Compton. The guy was tough as fucking nails. Back when football players were tough as nails. They had Too Tall Jones and shit. You know what I mean? Or that picture of that guy. You remember he's like, he's sitting on his knees and shit after that failed game. He played for the Giants. Or when Frank Gifford got the fucking shit knocked out of him and he was not fucking, right ever since. Or I'm telling you, man, when fucking Lawrence Taylor broke that guy's fucking leg, that horrific shit. But the good times, or like when Michael Strahan, you know what I mean? And fucking Favre gave him the nod and shit to give the records. Football had his good times and his bad times, but not for nothing. Listen, dude, this could be controversial. A lot of people hate Tom Brady. I don't hate him. I don't have a reason to because I'm a Giants fan. I admire the guy for what he did. He's got the Giselle broad, too. It was fucking way hot, way beautiful. And let me tell you something with the Brazilians and shit. When he had the Olympics and finally with the big get, at the end, like, oh, and then finally, here comes Giselle. And she was like their final person. Everybody's go, oh, yeah, the Olympics. This was Brazil's all about. Man. But, not for nothing. NFL used to be cool. Hey, happy birthday to Tom Brady. And, it is what it is. Let's move on, Sack.